Hello, everyone. It's November the 1st, 2025. I'm just going to go into a um, ideology around prop firms. Okay. I'm going to be trading a demo account that I've created myself. All right. Now, why would I bother with a demo account? Because you're thinking, well, that doesn't show us anything. Use a live account. Well, I have shown you in a live account, many times. Recently, up to 450% gains in about 2 months on my little account. Um, and I figured, well, all right. So people get it now. I'm not fake. I'm not in this for anything. I'm not looking to capitalize on anybody. I'm not creating hype. It's just not my style, right? I don't need to. I make my money from the markets, and consequently, that's the way it will always be. If I ever do post anything, sort of where I offer a product for somebody to buy, it will be because that it's worth every cent that you're going to spend on it. If you choose to, like I said, to me, it makes no difference. I don't need to do that. I'm old enough. I'm kind of semi-retired, and I honestly don't want to take money from people who can ill afford to lose it simply because that makes the society worse off. Okay. And many people have done that since the internet came along. It was just a way to harvest money from people who are looking to desperately change their lives. To me, that is the biggest atrocity of all. When you take advantage of people's desperation. Anyway, I'm not trying to say I'm a saint or anything else. I just don't believe in that sort of a nonsensical approach that most people take when it comes to, making money. It just, all that really seems to really matter these days is whether you make money, not how you make it, not whether it's a credible sort of way of making it or not whether you truly offer anybody any value, but whether you make money, and in most cases, it's all about that. Okay. No value is created. I would argue even, I like Tony Robbins. I like some of these people, but the amount of people they help versus the amount of money they've harvested from people over the years, I'm just going to say that, you know, it's still part of the problem. Okay. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm trading this demo account. Why am I trading the demo account? Because this is what prop firms offer you. Okay. And why is it, sort of a good thing to trade a demo account? Because this is where a lot of the transactions take place now. At one time, when you traded a demo account, it was not so, it was really easy actually to, and anybody could turn a demo account almost into, massive amounts of money, with very little risk. And that's because nobody cared. Well, that's changed now. You may notice that it's much harder to trade a demo account now. Why? Because it's being manipulated the same way that a live account is being manipulated, because so many of these prop firms offer you the demo accounts, right? And the payments come from the money that you make on the demo account, right? Even though it's not necessary, the orders aren't being routed to the real market, which tells you a lot, doesn't it? It tells you how much this market is manipulated and how much, the fact that, let's say you're trading on an MT4 or an MT5, platform or anything like that. It's a made up market. It's a tier three liquidity market, which means it's not really even executing on the real markets, even live accounts. It's a market made up of all the various people that use the platform. Okay. That's basically what it is. Now, how do I know this? Because I've opened MetaTrader 4 and 5 accounts. I run brokerages that way. I know the back end. And there's always some other middleman, involved, and all the different people that, go on down the line. And the whole thing is designed, the software itself is designed to empty your account into the brokerage's account over time. Okay. Trust me when I tell you I know these things. I'm not doing it to knock anybody, because you can still make money, but it's all designed. Basically, you better be on the side of the people who are manipulating price. Okay. I've often said that to you, and that's the reason why. Now, demo accounts, basically, they're pretty much the same as live accounts as far as how price moves. Okay. And I noticed that over time, over the last year or two, how much more difficult it's getting to make money even with the demo accounts. And that's the reason why, because all these fake prop firms that basically make their money from charging traders fees. Now think about it for a second, right? Let's say, that's the business model, folks, okay? Let's say you have 100,000 traders all paying you, let's say three or four or $500 per month, where only maybe 1 or 2% of them are going to pass the test. Now think about that for a second. That's a lot of money, folks. That's way more than they'll make from any particular movements in the markets or tradings or anything else. Like, it's a ridiculous amount of money they're making, and that's why they're opening up left, right, and center. Okay. Now, I've told you that you don't know who's evaluating your test. Who the hell are they? Are they actually credible traders? Are they credible money managers that are evaluating your trade? Or is it just somebody that's, randomly, gives you conditions, that you can't possibly sustain over the long haul? And that's what basically the prop firm conditions are. You cannot sustain those conditions, folks. I guarantee you. That's why I keep telling you, there will come a time where your accounts will draw down, where you will take a heavy loss. That's just how the markets work that way, okay? Money is not made in a straight line, okay? It's made in hiccups. In other words, it looks like this chart here. That's how money is truly made. You'll make a bunch, then you'll lose some, then you make a bunch and you lose a bunch, and then that's how money is made over time, folks. Okay. And you have to be able to embrace that uncertainty, which I post about all the time with the behavioral analysis that I do, and where I try to get you to look at the market setups versus using traditional indicators. Okay. So what we're going to be doing with this 10,000 account is taking positions in the open market. And I've shown you a couple of times, I turned a $2,000 account into $14,000. I've turned, a couple of other accounts that I have with other, demo brokers, into 10,500. But the idea, of course, is you have to take longer term positions, and you have to basically allow your account to draw down a little bit at the time. There's no way to do it. You can't prevent that from happening, right? And that's where you have to take the volatility of the market that you're trading into account, right? It just swings all over, like especially the Nasdaq. It swings around in 200-300 pip increments, right? And you just cannot help but that's not necessarily you or your system or anything else. It's the manipulation and the way they move the market around, right? The market actually probably doesn't move that much in a day, but it seems like it does, because let's take a look at it. Over here, let's go to even the 5-minute. This is the Nasdaq on the 5-minute, and you can see here, look at the swings. Down 200, up 150, down another 200, up 50, down another 150, up 300. It's really, really hard to, on the smaller time frames, to do anything, right? And most people are scared to death to let it run for any length of period of time. If they let it run for 2 minutes, they're doing well. So it's not so easy, right? And the minute you take a position, it seems that the market begins to move against you. So it's spooky, right? It automatically, read some of my previous posts on your emotions and your behaviors, and those will help you to deal with that sort of stress, But this is what we're going to be using anyway, and I'm going to show you that yes, you can build it. I don't think you can do it with the conditions that prop firms give you, okay? Because in order to do that, that means you have to have relatively, a tiny drawdown. Really hard to do if you're trading gold, if you're trading the Nasdaq, if you're trading, some of the more volatile, the Dow. God forbid, like look at the Dow, it just chops around, like big swings, right? And in order to get into it, let's say you catch this move up, you have to be able to put up with these swings all over the place, right? So you have to take the volatility into account. Not easy, because these guys don't like you to get in and capture the moves, okay? So they do their very best. Trust me when I tell you this. I've taken enough live positions that they try to knock you out before the market makes a move, like makes it look easy, right? The market just sort of moves. Well, no, only if you got in here, but your chances are you're going to try to get in here, and then it chops around, like it spooks most traders before the true move happens. Okay, but anyway, we're going to be taking live positions. I'm going to call them, okay, when I take them. And you're welcome to take them with me because it's no different from a live account, folks. Trust me when I tell you that, okay? It's no different now from a live account, where the reasons why some of the traders make money is they do so with their marketing, okay, attracting other traders to trade through the affiliate programs that these prop firms have, okay? So it's all based on marketing. It's not based on real trading, what I would classify as long term or even mid term or short term trading. It's based on affiliate marketing, it's based on payouts per month, and it's based on attracting new blood every single month into the market, right? You're all looking for that extra cash, right? Well, it doesn't exist. They give you a $10,000 or a $5,000 account or a 50 or 100 or 200. It's all demo money, even if it seems real. Okay. So it really never hits the real market. And that being said, so anyway, I was just going to show you that this is our starting. I'm trading it at where my live account is out of Global Prime. It's a very small brokerage, I guess a bucket shop you could call it, but they seem to give good feeds. They don't seem to really have that much in store. A lot of brokers will manipulate your price, will requote you, will slip you to death. Now that happens to me too. And let's say gold, when I'm trading gold on my live account, I get slipped all the time. The way to avoid that is use limit orders, in which case you might not get filled, or to use take profits. Because that way, if it hits it, you're out. But once again, the games are played with those two. But anyway, let's take some positions and let's see if we can meet the um, conditions that are set out by most of these prop firms. Okay, we're going to try to do that, and I'll call them out, and you can see them. And like you already know, I make a lot of money, so let's try to do that. Let's try to meet their goals of I think it's 5% to 10% a month. Which, trust me, real trading over time, you can't do that. You just cannot do that with $100,000 or $1 million account. It just isn't going to work that way. You're going to have a bad month. It's just the way it is. Okay. I've been trading for 25 years, so I know that. You may even have an off year. Okay. And I know that's most people don't want to hear that because you want money overnight, or you want money to pay your bills, or you want money to pay each month. The market owes you nothing, folks. Okay. The market will give you what it gives you. There's a lot of competition. Okay. It's not easy. If it were, it's like any particular startup business, 95% fail. Okay. It's really hard. I would say it's even worse here because your competition is zero sum. You're going up against traders like me every single day. And that's not to mention the high frequency traders that are on the opposite side of your trade. Okay. So anyway, but we're going to give it a shot here. And I think this is a really interesting experiment to do because we're going to see, and I'm going to demonstrate to you how hard it is over a period of time to do that, even on a demo account. All right. A lot of these guys make ridiculous returns on a demo account, but they take ridiculous risk to do it. You do that once with one of those prop firms and you're out. Your account's going to be shut down. Okay. So what we're going to try to do is to follow their unrealistic rules because that's what they are. Make no mistake about it. And we're going to see what we can do. So I welcome you aboard. Open a demo account, trade with me. You will make money. Anyway, have yourself a fantastic day.